Hey guys, what's up? We've got a Cannibal CME handing this way. It's come from an X flare from a very, very rare sunspot that has polarity that isn't normal. It's breaking all kinds of rules, and it's already fired two flares, and they're going to combine. And well, not really combine. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But they're awful hungry with the little cannibalistic ways that they have right now. So yeah, we're gonna kind of just jump into it, guys. All right, guys. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna be talking about. Give me a 5 for 5 in there if you guys could, while I keep moving here. I don't want to stop. I just want to kind of keep going here. Um, Thanks, Aaron, already. Pre-stream super chat. Kind of crazy. Brother, you're awesome. Guys, give him congratulations. I actually gave him I thought he had a wrench, and I looked down, and his name was still green. I thought he had a wrench like weeks ago. I felt really bad about that. But anyway, yeah. Thanks, Stephanie. Good to see you. Thanks for modding. Hey, Dennis. Hey, thank you for your recent stuff, man. I really do appreciate you. Anybody donating and stuff, guys, I really do appreciate it. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into it, guys. It seems like that helps when I do that. Hey, Jammer, good to see you, brother. Hope you're feeling better. He's part of the best mod crew around right there. Him and Ilea are like top-notch moderators, just so you know. They do a lot more behind the scenes than what you guys could ever see until you start doing it yourself. But anyway, and they're really good at it. So I'll stop and say hi here in just a few minutes, guys. But, guys, we've had... Listen... I don't even know what to say sometimes. This sunspot is the exact sunspot I was talking about yesterday. I'm really glad that I'm kind of gaining a little bit more confidence, I guess, and just going ahead and saying kind of what I think might happen for, within a day or two, because I'm seeing observations. I'm starting to understand it better, I guess. And maybe it's just because I see it all the time and all that kind of thing. And I'm understanding what a rare sunspot is, why this one is rare. And I actually explained it to you guys yesterday, or maybe even the day before, because I noticed the polarity was wrong on it. And I know that only about 3% of the sunspots end up doing this. And I even said, hey, when they have that north-south polarity, they're more active. And within 12 hours of me saying that, and it ain't like because I said it, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it I'm kind of saying it to myself because maybe I just need to be like that. I don't know. But yeah. So this thing is definitely becoming active, and it's right. You can't get any more right in front of Earth. Okay? This is like right there. Strike zone, I mean, you're striking out every time throwing the ball there, if you know what I mean. So if you guys could, please share this out while I rotate over to this. But this thing, not only is it flaring, but the other ones are flaring too. Now you're going to see here, and I look for the forecast to change, okay? And mainly because of that flare. Well, two of them, because that sunspot in particular fired two decent flares already. And I'm going to show you the polarity on that in a minute, but I want to show you a little piece of about everything else that's going to be going on right now too. And then we'll just dive into it, right? But they're forecasting right now, and this is typical. I mean, it's just what happens. I'm not sure if they've updated it yet as far as up here. There are no geomagnetic storms, expected right now. Okay? Now, an R3, that's the bottom tier of an X flare. For those that don't know, it's this flare right here. Okay, and that's how they range radio blackouts. That's the warning system they use. Or I'm not sure if it's a warning anymore, because by the time they can get that to us, it's already hit. So that it's really not even giving us any kind of a warning. It's just stating how high what level the radio blackout is. So, yeah. Now, because Soho, we got a satellite right in front of us called Soho. Always looking at the sun. We get about an hour warning from a CME when it's coming at us because it'll hit that satellite first. Okay? X-ray, it may be 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes. Probably like a minute. Not even a minute. I mean, it's got to be like, I don't know, 15 seconds from the time it hits that satellite till it hits Earth. Because it's moving at the speed of light. That's what X-rays are doing. So it's here in 8 minutes. And it's 93 million miles away, so you can do the math. Right? So that's what I'm saying. So we don't get warnings for flares. You're just not going to get it. We might get like, hey, we need to watch this area for flaring. But that's all you're going to get. Once a flare starts and happens, yeah. I mean, it's here. We can't do nothing about it anyway. You know, but that is just what it is. Hey, Genius by Bird, good to see you. Hope between your dreams, what's up? All right, putting that chat away. I'm starting to squirrel again a little bit. So we're not going to do that. I'm not falling back into that old habit, guys. So just know. I'm not trying to be, you know, like hardcore rude or anything like that either. So please don't feel that way. But I am going to stick to this right now. And I'll stop about halfway through, and we'll see what kind of super chats and stuff that we've had. And I'll say hello, and we'll do a roll call about halfway through. Okay? I think it's working pretty well, and I gotta say thanks to Adam and Dex for that suggestion, because it definitely does work. And I think you guys enjoy it better that way too, because I don't have to stop all the time. But anyway, okay, so we had other flares on other parts of the sun. So where'd that come from? Well, here's the X flare right there. There was one over here, and these over here ended up being rather big. Okay, the eruptions from these M flares over here was pretty substantial. Now, I couldn't really tell if when this one erupted, if it was being occulted by the sun. In other words, the source of the flare could have been partially on the backside. I couldn't tell, but it doesn't really look like it is. Now, I do find it interesting. Watch this stuff fall back. You seeing that? We're going to watch this again because I want you guys to see when this blows out. Watch. Watch. This is a good way to show you. So, here we go. Wham. Now, watch what happens. I'm still counting. And then you still see more plasma coming back to the sun. That thing shot way out there, and the sun wasn't letting it go. It grabbed a lot of that back. Okay? So that's just what I'll say. Hey, Planet Hermit. Hey, Mark. Hey, all. But thank you. Thank you. Okay. Genius by Bird gifted 5 of them. Awesome. Thank you so much. And AA Ron, I'm not sure if that was the original one or maybe a second one. If it was your second one, thanks again. If not, thank you again for the first one. Guys, just tell them thanks in there if you would. It's just one of those things. I don't want people to ever not hear the word thank you right away when that happens. Okay? I think it's really important to recognize people when they come out of their own pockets to try to help anybody. It's humbling. It really truly is. So I'll highlight that one there real quick. And what else we got here? Just real quick, like, okay. And then there's Geniuses. I like the name, by the way. It looks like you've gifted another 5. Hey, Ron, you didn't need to do that, man. Wow, dude. Awesome. Thank you. I mean, he super chatted. He gave me a $20 super chat before the stream even started. So, thank you. I don't know what else to say. But anyway, let's move on, and I'll stop again and give you guys a proper thanks. But I'll be here in just a few minutes. Now, guys, look at this. These are eruptions from these flares. Okay, I thought we were going to get a 3 or 4 day, kind of a lag, kind of like just, hey, let's calm down a little bit. We just went through this G4 storm, all that kind of stuff. Let's just have a couple days where nothing's going on, right? Well, the sun said, thanks for playing. So let me, I'm going to start right here on the 14th, okay? And you know, I guess veterans of the channel here are going to notice that that's a halo, at least right there in the middle. There's one eruption, there's a second eruption, and then the third eruption is the halo. These two are separate from that halo eruption. Okay? And there were two halo eruptions. You got one from an M flare right before the X flare, and then you got this one. And NOAA's forecasting over here, and I'll show it to you here in a second. I'm going to slow this down so we can see this a little bit better. Yeah, so I'll pause it right there. That's the first eruption right there, guys. It actually started back on the 13th, I think. Well, maybe not. That is back on the 13th right there. But, okay, so if I go forward here, here's the first one. And guys, yes, that's erupting in the danger zone. Okay? Anytime we get an eruption over there, it's got a chance of crossing our interplanetary magnetic field line. That's our connection to the sun, magnetically. Okay? Everything is connected to the sun. If you were butt naked out in the middle of space on a NASA tether somewhere, your left butt cheek would be connected to the sun magnetically. So I'd be careful passing gas up there because you might just get blowed out into space. But yeah, that's a joke, by the way. But no, everything would be connected to the sun. If you were able to be out there and you could survive out there in that vacuum of space, you would be connected to the sun magnetically. Okay? Every satellite is, everything is, right? We talk about a magnetosphere, right? This thing here, our magnetic field, and the solar wind and our magnetic field basically kind of works together here and makes our magnetosphere. You know, we get this tail action going on. Guess what? The sun has that too. It's called the heliosphere. It actually goes out and engulfs the whole solar system. It's protecting us from cosmic rays and anything outside of our solar system coming in. Now, obviously, it ain't going to catch everything. I mean, that would be a ridiculous thought to have. But, you know, we had a CME, I can't remember what, was it, man, when did that hit? I can't remember, but one of the CMEs hit Voyager on the edge of our solar system when it was on its way out. That's how powerful our star is, guys. Okay? It is the single most influential thing in our lives. There's nothing more as physically that's going to affect you than the sun. It might be an indirect effect through, like, maybe plants not getting enough sunlight, maybe plants getting too much sunlight. You know, this is what I'm talking about. It affects everything. Earthquakes, hurricanes, thunderstorms, any, you know, glacial melt, our Gulf Stream waters, which is affected by the glacial melt. I mean, come on. I mean, it truly does affect everything. And it is more instantaneous than what people give it credit. Okay? Because we've seen flares pop over top of CME or hurricanes, and they'll intensify two levels in like 12 hours. Not even that sometimes. We've seen it year after year now, and we started noticing it back, I can't remember, like 3 or 4 years ago with Florence and, I don't want to call it, I'm not sure if it was Ian or Ivan, something like that. They were like a week apart, but we had decent sized flares and geomagnetic storms hit right over top of those. And you could literally look at the satellite imaging. When that stuff hit, it just energized those hurricanes. It was something to see. It truly was. I would highly suggest you guys go back and check it out on your own. Just go back and look at some like GOES radar or satellite imaging. You'll see it. It's very, very evident. Okay? But anyway, this one here popped. Right? So anytime we get one that pops over here, we got to worry. Not, I'll say worry. I'm trying not to use that word because I don't worry. I promise you guys, I don't. I don't worry about any of this stuff. I'm just aware. And I react when things happen. That's all I do. Okay? And I would hope that that's how I keep myself, my anxiety levels down. And I try to keep it in my mind, hey, yes, this stuff, you know, when the big one happens, obviously, that's going to be a little concerning for the whole planet. Am I going to be here when that happens? I don't know. All I can do is just make other people aware, make myself aware, and prepare as much as I can. That's it. And preparing at certain levels is different from one person to the other. I tell people to buy stuff that you would use anyway, rotate it once you get to a certain level, and then, go to a level of prepping that you're comfortable with, whatever that level is. It's different for everybody. And then go one extra step. That's what I do. Now, I'm not telling people they got to follow that advice. There's a lot of other, if you have the means and all that kind of thing, just to go full out bore everything, do it. That's what I say. I mean, if you got the means and it ain't like just totally destroying your life to do it, that it's only smart. Even if you have like winter storms and things like that, tornadoes, that stuff still gets used. Okay, so that's why I suggest to people buy things that they use anyway, or would use if they needed to. I understand that the food and stuff we get for prepping and things like that typically isn't the best tasting food in the world. Okay, so use it like soup. Like I have a soup night once a week, or don't waste it. There's no sense in it. It don't taste bad enough just to throw it in the trash. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, and there's different ones out there, and you could test them on your own. But when we have a CME that pops out over here, if it crosses our interplanetary magnetic field line, the protons from inside that thing sometimes will get grabbed onto our line, okay? And it'll filter it right back to our planet. And then you'll see this proton flux start shooting up, okay? Now, an S1 radiation storm, even the scales, they will tell you that biologically, it's going to do nothing. We won't even notice this is happening. Now, S2, things start to elevate. And I'm not going to go into exactly what it can do and all that kind of thing. But just know, when we're talking about radiation storms, that's what we're talking about, proton flux. Now, I will say this too. It doesn't have to cross our connection to the sun for us to get a radiation storm. If we've got a CME coming directly at us, that is... if it's a big enough one, it'll put you right up into a radiation storm, okay, when you get hit with it. So, just so you know. And at some level, when it gets close enough, it's going to cross our line anyway, right? So, it's not a straight line. It's kind of out there like a noodle, flipping around, okay? It's never in the same spot. It's constantly fluidly moving. And you can see it on the models. Well, I'll tell you what I can do. I can show you that model real quick. This one. So when you see these lines, dashed lines, that's what that is. Okay? And yes, look at that. See? That's just one of those CMEs. There were two. Okay? So the NASA model, unfortunately, it updates in a way that we don't typically get to see two CMEs on one model run. Okay? Now I do find it interesting that if you look at this, we kind of lined up with Mercury right there. Planetary alignments can cause these things. Okay? They can instigate the sun. I'm not saying that that's what caused this one, because really it fired when Mercury wasn't in a direct line, but it could have been close enough that it influenced the sun enough to say, hey, boom, throw a CME out there for me, would you, buddy? But no, and that's kind of what I'm saying here. And well, not really. Hold on one second. I do that every stinking time. Okay, so yeah. Now, okay, so let's go back to seeds here. I'm gonna hit start. I'm gonna pause it right there. Okay, you see that? That's the first halo. Now, if you look close, it's going to be hard to see. There was a second little puff in there. So, there was two of them. And, not to mention the other two that came from the other sunspots. So, if we come back over here to NOAA, they've actually got it already on their model. I was surprised. They got it up here pretty quick, like they really did. I was happy about it too. But check it out, okay? This is 2 days historic data, and it tries to forecast 5 days in advance. So we're right there. There's the first eruption, but guys, the second one is right on its tail. Okay, right. You see it kind of catching up already. So watch what this thing does. It almost looks like one already. That's how close these things erupted. So when it gets to our planet, watch what happens. Do you see how it kind of, that's 2 separate CMEs. So, and it looked as if it might have been 1, but it's 2. And I can tell you visually here, and Noah is thinking it also because you got 2 little spikes. So, you know, I've talked about Cannibal CMEs before. I'm not going to go into great detail tonight about that, but what I will say, they don't eat each other, okay? They don't combine and become completely just one CME. They basically build a high dense shockwave in between each other because the one's moving faster and the one in the front is acting like a wall. So you get particles build up in between them as the faster one catches up with the one in the front. The snowplow effect. So oftentimes what happens is we'll get 3 hits from 2 CMEs. Okay? And that third hit is actually the second because it's that built up density in between the 2 CMEs. Okay? So that's how that works most of the time. Now, I will say this too. It doesn't have to work the same way every time either. We've seen multiple things happen. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into all that either. But, so this is that sunspot. Okay? And we'll take a deeper look at that here in just a second. But I want to touch on this. This is a coronal hole. I looked for uptick in seismic activity. I haven't really looked for any kind of major earthquakes today. So if that happened, I'm like way behind the 8 ball here. So let's look. This is USGS. And it doesn't look like we've had a whole... Whoa. You got 3 5.0s right there within the course of... All of them were today. 12, 13, 5. Yeah, so within the course of roughly 7-8 hours, you got 3 5-pointers over here. That's significant. Okay, that's a pretty significant uptick there. Plus, we're getting I can't remember who was talking about the swarms, but you know, anytime you see any decent ones up here in the Cascadia zone up here, your butt puckers every time. You hate to see anything big up here. Small ones, I like to actually see them, and the reason why is because it releases some of that pressure, and it lessens the chance of a bigger one. So, that's just what I'll say. Now, this one over here in Peru looks pretty decent. Yeah, it's a 5.3. But yeah, I'm not seeing like a 7 or an 8 or anything on here, so yeah. And by the way, if you want good earthquake stuff, go over to Ron at Emergency Management Associates. He's a good dude. He really gets the information out as best he can. He's on every day. Yeah, so go check him out. Isaiah's granny is one of his moderators. Hey, Mark, good to see you. All right, guys, give me a roll call in there if you would. And as I come over here to change this, that's the 131 angstrom. It's an extreme ultraviolet. We can't see that angstrom with our eyes, so they assign it a color and show it to us. It's showing us a specific gas, okay? But what I want to do is I'm going to show you this rare sunspot, okay? This rare sunspot. Hey, Menacing, good to see you. Hey, Linda. I talked about this yesterday, okay? But this is even more just intense. That's what I'll say, okay? It's become to the point now where this thing could flare at any time, okay? And that's concerning. I mean, I wouldn't say concerning, but it's something that needs watched, okay? Just to make sure we don't have things happening, right? So what we got? We got Florida, Missouri, Utah. Good to see you. Private Idaho. I love that. Kiddo Mamas from Missouri. What we got? Buffalo. See here, think. Florida is where Christine's at, Kat. I know where you're at, Kathy. Aloha. Miss Dragon, I know where you're from too, girl. Heck yeah, up there. All right, now, David, you're from Hannibal, Missouri. Wow. Okay. Mary's from New Orleans. Love that. Ohio Gun Runner. Ohio. Yeah, you're the one. Didn't you send me some Aurora photography? I think you did. Hey, IG, thank you for putting Ron's link in there. Appreciate that. Hey, Linda, Menacee, what's happening, guys? Hey, Trish, Ripper's in the house, baby. Heck yeah, AK, Heather Joy's in here. Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. All right, so thanks for being here, guys, and thanks for all the $20 pre-stream super chat, Ron. And I think you gifted 10 memberships now. And so did Genius by Birth gifted 5 today. Guys, it just humbles me. So thank you so much. I really, truly do appreciate it. I wish there was a way to be able to show how grateful I actually am. I mean, there's just really no words for me to say it. It just, yeah. So thank you. Just know that it makes a difference, okay? You're making a difference in my family's life and anybody really that you're supporting out here on YouTube. It makes a difference. You're not going to hear, people like myself or people the people that I consider my friends. We're not going to come out here and whine about our problems, okay? It's just not going to happen. We're not going to come out here, oh, we need this, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I have any issues. All I'm saying is that I hope you guys respect that and see that. Because there are those out there that just, yeah. And I just don't want to be viewed that way. You know what I mean? There's times when people need it, but you know what I mean? Usually your friends will pop up when that happens, though. And you'll be like, hey, this guy over here is having a hard time. Let's go help him. That kind of thing. Usually you don't have to say it. And so, anyway. This Sunspot is breaking Hale's law. Okay, I'm not going to get into exactly Hale's law. But it's the polarity thing, right? Left, right. That's how it should be here on the sun. See how you got blue and red? And then up here, you got blue, red there too. That's actually opposite of what it should be. Unless they're not considering that a core. So yeah, we've got a couple of odd things happening here. So I don't know if they're considering that a core or not. If they are, that polarity is actually wrong. It should be red-blue up here right now in the northern hemisphere. Okay, and it should be blue-red in the southern hemisphere. So when I'm talking about rare here, I'm talking about the polarity is oriented north-south. So why is it supposed to be horizontal? People ask me that all the time. It's because the equatorial region of the sun rotates faster than the polar regions. Okay? So what happens is at the start of a sun cycle, the sun's like a bar magnet, basically, for what this little analogy is going to be. You got up, down, straight up and down, right? Well, if the sun was rotating like the Earth does, because we're a rock, right, with whatever our core is made out of, those magnetic lines are not going to get stretched, right? They're going to stay whatever they are. But with the sun, it's not the case. So they start horizontal, and that's why most of the sunspots early on in the sun cycle are up here and down here, and they slowly migrate towards the middle, just like our magnetic poles are migrating, right? We got to remember that negative and positive are attracting one another, so they should be coming close. But with this is a little different. So when we're talking about up and down like this, and then we got something in the middle moving faster, what happens? They start doing this. Okay, those lines do. And through time, they basically become completely almost horizontal, and then the flip happens during the termination event. Basically, they meet in the middle, and floop, and that whole cycle starts over again. Okay? That's why the polarity should be more left, right, right, left than north, south. Okay? That's why this is rare. They say it's like 3% of sunspots do this. Okay? And also, I think it's like 3% that we see the opposite polarity in a different hemisphere. I'm going to have to look more into this, because if that's actually that core, that is backwards. Okay? And we do get that. I'm not saying it's not like, oh gosh, oh god. No, all I'm saying is that it's supposed to be red, blue here in the north. Okay? And you can clearly see, because the ones down here are, blue, red. So, and the other ones up here are the same way, right? But you can see this is becoming very unstable. The reds and blues are getting really close to one another. When that happens, you get reconnection events, and that's when you see a flare. Okay? So, that's what I'll say. Hey, Ricky, good to see you. Alright, now, we don't have much space weather happening right now at our planet. This is still leftover magnetic pressure from the G4 storm. Okay? So, I'll just let you guys look at that for just a second. I'm not going to, spend a whole lot of time on that. Let's see here. What is today? Today is the 14th, right? Pretty sure. Yeah. I was back here looking. Guys, I know the big story right now is the Boeing capsule up there stuck on the space station. I went back and I was looking to see what was going on during all that, and we did have an unexpected geomagnetic storm hit during that, okay? But I'm not saying that that's what caused it, because they actually postponed that launch multiple times, okay? They had some helium leaking and everything. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they didn't launch when they were supposed to begin with. If you guys don't know, there's 2 astronauts stuck on the space station right now. They're trying to figure out how to go back up and get them. They're trying to see if they can't fix the capsule itself. If not, they're going to have to figure something out to go up and get them. That's like some Apollo 13 stuff, man. I was like, whoa! I don't want to be no part of that. You know what I'm saying? What's he doing? See, guys, look. See, Dr. Tony Phillips is on top of it. Check him out. Look, he's talking about the same thing here that I was. Well, look here. Hale's Law. There you go. You know what I'm saying, guys? That's Hale's Law. It says, according to that 100-year-old rule, Sunspot, and it's a rule that they've come up with because of the polarity, and I think it was Dr. Hale, or the guy's last name was Hale, right? But that's why. That's called Hale's Law. When it doesn't act like that, it's breaking that law. So maybe it needs to go to jail. I don't know. That was a dad joke. You guys can rake me over the coals on that one if you want to. There was one here too. I wanted to show you guys what the backside of the sun looked like. Because sometimes he has... Here's one. Check it out. Look, guys, because I knew we had some big sunspots on the back. Check this out. This is that seismic activity mapping that I talked to you guys about all the time. So what you see here on the gray is the exact front of the sun that I showed you here. Okay? But they're representing it here on a sphere. Now, if we come back over here, they stretched it out, right? And it's curved because it's stretched out. And so if you were to take that and wrap it around the proper size sphere, it would make a globe, right? But they've used seismic activity to be able to map out what the backside of the sun looks like. So we've got these big spots back there, guys. Okay, so this one here is rotating in. Because here's that one that's breaking the law here. Things are going rotating left to right here. Okay, this one here, I'm not sure if they're trying to say it's part of this one. Probably. It's probably one big area. Okay, so and I guess they're firing CMEs back there. But yeah, so we're able to see the backside of the sun without being able to see it. Right? It's an awesome new technique that they're using. I think it's really, really cool. Okay, so that's what's going on. I mean, I really don't think I have a whole lot more for you guys. Okay, there's just we're going to be talking about that sunspot because it did fire Cannibal CMEs, and again, I showed it to you already, so I don't think I need to really show it to you again real quick. But check this out. That's the BZ. This week, in the next day or so, I may try to sneak in a little bit of information about the BZ to help people understand exactly what that is. Okay? If we're going to have a slow day tomorrow, I'll probably do that. And the reason why, because I want people to understand, because this is a huge, huge influence on whether we get geomagnetic storming or not. If we're not -6, we're not getting any kind of big geomagnetic storms, typically. Unless it's just a humongous, right on the chin, massive CME, okay? So yeah, but you can see how it's, right now it's in the positive. Look, oops. I hate it when I do that. Right now it's in the positive. So it's actually deflecting things. So, but it does look like we got hit with some sort of space weather here too, because things were moving. But yeah, so. All right, guys. Okay, so if you guys got any questions, shoot them to me real quick, and then we'll probably just get on out of here. I may come back on with another stream later on if something happens. I'm going to keep an eye on this sunspot because it really does need to happen. I've got a members only stream scheduled for I think it's 8:30 or 8:45. I may not be able to make that happen. Okay, so I'm letting you guys know. If I can't get back from where I got to go, well, I'll just tell you, I got a little infection in my leg, so I got to go get some antibiotics. So if I don't get back in time, that is what it is. But I don't feel real bad or nothing, guys. I just can't take no chances with it. That's all. So I'm just going to get some antibiotics and I'll be fine. Guys, this happens to me all the time. I just don't tell you. Okay? Because that's all I would do is talk about stupid stuff like that. So, if I get back in time, I will. If not, I will definitely, I thought about this. Members, if you guys want me, I thought about maybe doing 2 in one day. Like 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. Just to try to help people that are members be able to attend, because I feel like if I just do 1 in the evening, that not everybody that's a member will be able to, what if I got people, well, I know I got people that live across the pond, you know what I mean? So I don't want to forget about them either. So, and something else too, guys, Becky might be coming on with, she's the lawyer that was in here last time, and I'm going to try to reach out to Jessica. She's the one that gave me permission to use her video, and I may see if she wants to join, because I think it would be good to, expose everybody to different genres of different stuff on YouTube. It could help both channels grow, and just get exposed to something you typically wouldn't. So yeah, that might happen too. So I just thought I'd let you know. It will, Ripper. I'm actually kind of, for once, being a little proactive here. I do have a little bit of a fever, but it ain't huge. So I'm not going to let it get huge. I ain't going to take no chances this time. So, I'm not saying I can't do it tonight. I might be able to. But what I'm saying, I'm going to leave it posted like it is. But if it's an hour past the posted time, I'm going to go in there and change the time to tomorrow and leave it posted like that. Okay? Just know that. Okay? But I wanted to give you guys an explanation on what's going on there. So I don't want you guys to think, oh, he just... No, that's not what's going on. There's a good chance I'll get back here too. Also, anybody that watches Adam and Dex over on Marfugal, Adam's traveling this week on some projects and stuff. He's going to be streaming at really odd times. Okay? So if you're a member over there or a subscriber over there at Marfugal, please hit that bell for him. Okay? That way when he goes live, you'll know he's live. Last night he went live. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning where I was at. Where I'm here on the here in Eastern Standard Time. It was really, really early in the morning or late, depending on how you want to look at that. But me and Abled Body was the only were the only mods up. So I was actually in there trying to mod a little bit. So that's the only and they've been telling us that was going to happen this week. But I just want you guys to know that, okay? But yeah. So if I can, I'll get back here and we'll do a members only. If not, I'll probably, I'll tell you what, if I don't, tomorrow on the members only stream, I'll give away a couple extra decks of cards. That way I'm kind of making it up to you guys. So, just want to let you guys know. And I'm sorry that I can't hammer stuff down, guys. I mean, my life is, I try to get here and stream at least once a day and try to do a members only once a week. And I think we're going to have a whole lot of fun with the Zoom court. So, hopefully you guys can hang in there, and come check that out because it's going to be fun. We already did it once, and it was fun. So that's what I'm saying, guys. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and pop off. God bless. Yahusha saves, and as always, you can drink this Kool-Aid.